What happens when people begin to question everything? When they go beyond just scandals and doctrines and realize that Jehovah's Witnesses weren't telling the truth at all. That realization caused the reason for the highest number of people to leave. The Jehovah's Witnesses' faith no longer seemed like the truth. All these reasons, shunning, failed prophecies, financial scandals, and changing doctrines, led to one inescapable conclusion for nearly 850,000 Jehovah's Witnesses. Jehovah's Witnesses were no longer the truth. And once a Jehovah's Witness realizes that, there's no turning back. Here's a clip.
When you look back on the witnesses, is there anything that kind of was like, wow, that should have rubbed me the wrong way back then, and it didn't, but now I'm like, wow, I can't believe I thought that was either acceptable, normal, yada, yada.
The way they fearmonger into looking and doing research, like it is so surprising now how did I think that was okay, for so many years. As before I woke up, there was a point when I was questioning that started to bother me more. But before that, it didn't, and it's like the truth should be able to withstand a lie. So we shouldn't have to be afraid if these people are actually, lying about this stuff, then that should hold, the truth should hold up under that.
First, let's talk about apostasy, and we'll call it spiritual poison. Now think about poison. What's the best way to avoid being poisoned? Well, we have to recognize poison when we see it and then avoid it. And the same principle applies to teachings that could destroy our faith. And that's not always easy. Now, not many of our brothers and sisters would deliberately get involved with apostates, but it could happen without our realizing it. We receive letters at times from brothers and sisters who are troubled by something they saw on a web page, an accusation, a rumor about the society or about the organization. And the problem is, they had no idea that apostates were behind it. It's tricky, because the apostates don't advertise, "You are now on an apostate web page."
Do not be misled. Bad associations spoil useful habits. As familiar as that principle is, can you think of an area in your life where it's difficult to apply? This may require us to ask additional questions of ourselves. Are we letting in bad association through social media? Perhaps we can think of another way bad association.
I don't think so. Except for some friends from my old congregation. Wow, they're not doing so well spiritually. But if I stay connected and see what they're doing, maybe I can help them.
Can affect us.
Fact check. Many ex-JWs cite the realization that their beliefs were not unique or divinely guided as a final decision for living. So what is happening here is that all these reasons, they compound. As Blue was saying, he said it's like, he was talking of another JW who left, and he said it's like something hitting the windshield. A bit, there's a small crack, and as you keep on hitting on it, suddenly the whole windshield shatters.
So what is that process of waking up? What was that trigger, or was it like a slow bleed, death by 1,000 cuts, or like a lightning bolt?
Yeah, so the waking up process, it's different for every person, but I think there's one commonality that every single witness that ends up waking up to the religion shares, and it's that over time there are these things that occur, these little doubts you get through the period of your being a Jehovah's Witness that you try to suppress, don't think about, you box up, you put it away, you don't really think about it. There was actually another ex-JW YouTuber that phrased it in such a way that it's almost like a crack in the windshield. You keep driving, you get a little crack in the windshield. You might be able to ignore it, keep on driving. You get another crack in the windshield. Eventually, over time, you start getting a lot of cracks in the windshield, and you can't ignore them anymore. There's several instances through my journey of being a witness where there were things that didn't sit well with me, or made me think, made me ponder.
And this is what has happened because all these reasons, all these doubts, all these little nagging behind somebody's mind, they accumulate and create a bigger problem, a bigger impact that leads to shattering of the windscreen. And that makes the sleeping Jehovah's Witnesses to wake up. It turns into a nightmare that makes Jehovah's Witnesses to wake up. And I'm inviting any ex-JW who would like to share his testimony to actually use my email address on about the channel to contact me so that we can arrange to share your testimony. It's important to speak out, to shake people, to wake them up from the sleep. So if you're interested in sharing your story on Tell Me Dr. K, kindly do so using the email address on about the channel, and I'll be more than delighted to contact you so that we can make an arrangement to discuss your testimony. So 850,000 people left because they stopped believing that JW was the truth. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and smash that notice bell so that every time I upload a new video, you will be notified. I break down exactly how these figures were calculated and the sources behind these figures. Now, these are not just numbers. That's what you need to understand, because sometimes when we are looking at numbers, we just think that they are just numbers. For each number, there are people behind it, and there are stories and reasons why people left the Jehovah's Witnesses sect. So to begin with, we have to start looking at the denominator. Jehovah's Witnesses publish detailed reports of their membership every year, including baptisms, publisher numbers, and overall growth trends. So if you go to jw.org, here are the figures. In 2015, there were 8.2 million active publishers. By 2025, this number had only grown to 8.7 million. But here is the shocking part. 2.5 million people were baptized during the same period, 2015 to 2025. Here is the big question you have to ask. If 2.5 million joined 2015 and 2025, and yet growth is only 500,000, where did the other 2 million people go? 40 to 66% of ex-JW surveys said that they left because they no longer believed the organization was the truth. Now, this is the most common cited reason for former members. Applying this to 2,800,000 people left because they realized Jehovah's Witnesses weren't the truth. Remember that Jehovah's Witnesses have branded themselves as the truth, as walking in the truth, as belonging to the truth. Here's a clip.
But have you ever asked a similar question? Maybe when you were just coming into the truth?
Over the last few years, we've had a few changes with regard to the events that occurred during the Great Tribulation. And if you've been in the truth for a while, sometimes it's a bit hard to remember, was that what we used to believe, or is this what we believe now?
Many of our brothers have no trouble accepting the fact that Jehovah will forgive the sins they committed in their ignorance before they came to a knowledge of the truth.
So there you are. This is how I actually estimated and calculated 800,000 people left because they realized Jehovah's Witnesses weren't the truth. And this is actually a conservative number. I hope you have enjoyed this, and those of you who were doubting where I got these figures are now convinced that these figures are actually solid. They are not from thin air. They are actually based on solid data from Jehovah's Witnesses' own reports and from other surveys and studies, including ex-JW's testimonies. If you have found this video as informative and mind-opening, kindly like, subscribe, and smash the notice bell so that every time I upload a new video, you'll receive a notification. If you have any questions, you are seeking further clarifications, please do so in the comment section. If you have any other comment or you totally disagree with the figures, please also do so in the comments below. If you think that this video will benefit others, kindly share with them, and you can share with as many people as possible. Now, to watch part 1 and part 2 episodes, click on this link. To watch other videos about Jehovah's Witnesses collapse, click on this link.